It's getting comfortable. Yeah, that's good. Hi. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? Let's turn the mic a little bit more sensitive. Or do I have? Where'd I put it? I don't know where I put it, but I'm not going to speak too loudly. So let's see if we can make the mic a little bit more sensitive. I'm running a Linux system, so thinking pretty customizable, pretty off the. Oh yeah, for sure. These. That might be a little bit too loud. Ooh, look at that! That's really loud. How about that? Okay, that's good. Built-in microphone. Hi, my name is Elliot, and I have a built-in microphone. I am amazed at the goodness in the world and our ability to turn things around for ourselves and have that reflected in the world. I wanted to, and so I still do want to, do a special tarot read and an astrology report, because a little known, not so secret on my channel is that I am a very intuitive tarot reader, and this is really the secret. I'm like an expert at astrology and like all astrology. And part of my insecurity / like attention deflection is I didn't want my channel to attract people that just want to get like tarot reads or astrology in the form of tarot reads, because there are like some really good tarot readers already. I'm only like watching one by now, but they're out there. And you can check my actually featured channels. I think I called them my confidence in channels. It's like if you look at my, I guess, about page, or I don't know what it is, subscription page, whatever, under the channels tab, I have a list, I think, of all my subscriptions, which is like redonkulous. It's been called like once or twice, but featured instead of featured, because they're not features of me. The channel's in the same stream as I have a list of ones that soulfully, spiritually, I know that their guidance is aligned with the good. So if you're ever curious, do that. But it is super fun for me. And I love to do it personally. I just don't know how to. I've only done it in person. Anyways, why I'm not doing that is I've got a list of things that are, I love how reflective it is. Just notes that I've been meaning to share with you over the last couple of days. And this is not a fly swapper. This is a fly shoer. Like, shoo, shoo, shoo. At the window, shoo. But I've learned for myself that I can't do that without doing this first. Like first, like part of my own like trick with myself is to use whiteboards, because they're lists that won't go on a piece of paper and then join the booklets of like info data lists that I have. I actually threw out all my lists over all the years. It was so gratifying to leave all that spectral residue behind. So one of the rules I have for myself is don't let it last. Write it down on paper if it's something that like you want, and add it to like where it goes, because I love organizing that shit. Or erase it, and I erase it all the time. But this, I'm not going to erase. I'm not going to write down because it's already in me. So let's share it. By now, you must be used to my preface diatribe to like dissuade non-friendlies. I love navigating strange pathways, and performing on this platform. One of those ways is giving the old finger to algorithms and things like that. And being hard to understand unless you're listening intuitively. Because the truth, with great truth comes great responsibility. And with great responsibility comes great power. So, here we go. Are you ready? I'll start at the end. This is the one I thought of this morning. It's called, I was going to do a whole chat on just this. So we'll just roll with it. Night vision, breath, and nails. That's not even funny, but I'm amused by myself. We've been robbed of our truth. Not lost, not forgotten, not ignored. By robbed, very truly and purely mean that which is and is taken consciously to the detriment of our need, for the sake of not need. But like, I'm going to go with lower vibrational desires, but by low vibration, I don't mean bass. Or by bass, I don't mean bass, bass, because the low vibrations, like your heart is 8 hertz, your brain is upwards of 100. Your heart, in comparison to your brain, is a low vibration. But doesn't that sound fucked up? It's because it is. We treasure the lower vibrations, and that's actually what the whole construction, like the false structures of our world, have been kind of organized to largely erase and displace, is the lower vibrations, because they're larger wavelengths. Okay, so like wavelengths go from nanometers to millimeters. Like infrared is, I think, like a meter long. You know, it's like there's substantial size up to like infinity. And why I say that is not to be me, but consider that across the span of the whole universe, there is a single frequency that is of the lowest vibration. It is but one length. It does not repeat. It is essentially one wavelength. How easily can that wavelength be overwrought by higher frequencies? Because the higher the frequency, the shorter the wavelength, but the higher energy. So it's like blue light and blue fire is brighter, is more energetic, more potent than red line. A way to think of that that's really easy is if you take, if like let's say, whoa, like let's say, whoa, that's red, and this is blue. It's the same amount of energy, but squished. That's all. So the smaller something is, the higher capacitance, the more room, the more energy it stores. So if you think of like blue that's spanning this long, boom, that's a whole lot of energy compared to red that's spanning this long. But blue that spans this long equates to red that spans probably about a block, like in comparison. And it's useful. This is useful for it's actually useful for everyday life because we are energy. We are electrical beings. We are mass times space times time, right? So you can look at your world in this kind of context and belong to it. The one is not more potent than the other, because with great distance comes distance. And there's something to be said. And like, if now we're going into very real physics that has been hidden. When you think of distance, you can grow in capacitance for gravity. Lower, like nuclear force, but greater gravitational force. And when you shrink distance, you increase the capacity for like electromagnetic force, but you decrease the capacitance for like gravitic effects. What does it have to do with anything? I don't know. Let's just keep rolling with it. Night vision, breath, nails. I pick those things because, you know what? They're totally taken for granted, and they have everything to do with the mutilation of our natural gifts. I've spoken to this before. I'm passionate about pollution, not because of its irreversibility, but because of the negligence that it infers. Like, I never litter. You know, people, I haven't done this forever, okay? I've only been doing this for like the last year. But when I smoke cigarettes, it's crazy. But after I'm done with my cigarette, I throw the cigarette butt in the garbage. And people like, I've seen, like, it's strange because who does that? You just throw it on the floor. That's what you do. You just flick it, right? Or I've taken to carrying another empty cigarette pack, because why isn't that part and parcel? Like, why with every cigarette pack isn't there some kind of equally accessible like slot for for doing away with your butts? Why I never lit it? It's because at a really early age, I threw something out of like a school bus window, and I had the thought. I think I was like 7, and I had the thought. You know, like those thoughts that you have when you're a kid that like last. You can almost remember it happening because they're so like impressionable. But I think it was like an apple, which wasn't like really litter, but it's litter, man. I threw it out the window. It was fun. Or gum, and I thought, who's gonna pick that up? And then, as time goes on and you think more, it's like, okay, well, you've got people that pick things up, but like, not really. If I drop something, it's mine to pick up. Conversely, am I gonna, like, if somebody drops something, can they incline themselves to be like, oh, Elliot's gonna pick it up, like a stranger? Now, that's another strange thing I do. Let's pick up litter, throw it in the garbage. Because if not you, then who? All right. I'm working with some very interesting challenges in my life right now, so excuse the way that my mind loses track of what I'm saying, and then I just kind of go. I appreciate your patience. Life. Yay, challenge and opportunity. Light pollution. When Edison invented the light bulb, and essentially between him and Tesla, but if it's him, like Tesla was a brilliant humanitarian, and Edison was a consummate industrialist. So part of like the gilded regime that like thought, they would do better for the world by enslaving it. They had to it's like, well, how are you going to get electricity into all the homes? And so they had to figure it out, and that's when they started putting wires in the ground. And the wires went into the ground, and then they went into the homes, and then they went into street lamps. And it was all for, at least in our day and age, the way we look back and consider the reasons why people do things, it was all for the sake of safety, because we were afraid of the dark. But I reckon that if we went back to that time, the reason that they went up was more novel, for the novelty of it, for the excitement of technology, and for, at least in like the collective perspective, for the lack of understanding, and not because we were afraid of the dark. But a lot of bullshit history talks about how disabled we were as humanity before we had lights. How when the sun went down, we basically just fucking stopped doing everything and went inside and went to bed, because what the fuck are you going to do in the dark? Well, I mean, man invented fire. It was amazing. We're the best. But we'll forget that when it comes to proving some other falsehood. The moral of the story is humans have night vision. Humans have awesome night vision. Humans have the capacity for night vision that is akin to cats, snakes, and other beautiful beings that see in the dark. Don't take my word for it. Even and I'm including myself because I've considerably advanced my capacities to see. I'm wearing my contacts right now, but someday soon I will not need glasses anymore, because part of my inspiration for life has been the query of like, why doesn't ... work? And like, not being able to see is weird. Like, I'm a human being. Like, I'm pretty perfect. Like, as a part of like everything that's made, I don't know why I would be made with eyes that are poor if like seeing seems very important. Maybe we'll come back to that. But if you go into your bathroom, bathrooms are these closets work too, but bathrooms generally don't have windows. That's a lie. I've lived in a lot of apartments and condos and things like that, so bathrooms have smaller windows. And then put like a towel underneath the door. Doesn't matter if it's night, doesn't matter if all the lights are off, just do that too. And then just sit there and let your eyes adjust. Sit there for like 10 more minutes. Like after you're like, okay, I'm good, I'm done. Do 10 more minutes. And watch, literally, how much greater your vision becomes. And those are eyes that have forgotten how to muscularly contract, to telescopically magnify, how to like dynamically dilate, right? Because it's never fucking dark. I hate the fucking light because there's so much of it. It's and also like the dark just gets a bad rap. So I'm like principally the rooter of the underdog. Your breath is something similar. I'm a yogi. I'm a yoga teacher. I've been teaching meditation yoga and then before that, I was teaching fitness and personal training. And so teaching breath has been like a professional expertise. And even now, I'm still learning how to breathe. Like, I'm gonna take a deep breath. That's not a deep breath. Like, I can breathe super long and breathe like my pelvic floor, yo. I'm being a little like silly about it, but the way your body breathes is, see, we're coming back to it. Your eyes. This is the thing that tripped me out, because when I don't know something and I'm curious about it, I look into it, and then I practically don't stop until I'm satisfied. And then I'm going to come back to it again when it like ties into something else, because everything is connected. Our eyes are structured as like an evolutionary model after fish. So our eyes are made to see in water, which is why in air we can't see as well. It's bullshit. Bullshit. It's because we're blinded by the light. And it's a crazy song, but I'm also being super literal. And then there's other ways they blind us, like depth. Like people just lose depth perception. You get nearsighted when you hit around 40 or something like that. No, it's because you've been losing your farsightedness to look near your whole life. And by then, what your nearsightedness is so fucking atrophied that what you thought was nearsighted was never. But that's just like a teaser. We are in water right now. The air is a fluid. It's just of a different consistency than water. What's the states of matter? Plasma, gas, liquid, solid. And they transition. When you boil water, it becomes water vapor. Air is just a subtler, a less substantial form of water, which is just a more substantial, more firm state of like etheric energy principle, plasma. And then there's subtler forms as well, but less firm than solid matter. It's not as solid as it seems. So when you breathe, you're not sucking air in, you're allowing it. There's a vacuum closed by your breathing valve, esophagus. And when you breathe in, you're opening it, and air fills you. All that is conditioned. All you have to do is open it. Keep it open. Air fills you. The effort is in pushing it out, which is part of the exoteric dying paradigm that emphasizes exhales over inhales. Well, yeah, because you don't know about inhales. So this is going to be subtle. You can't really see it, I don't think, but I'm going to breathe again. And it's different, okay? It's like there's no rigmarole. It's just breathing. I'm going to exhale while still inhaling. I'm going to inhale. I never stop inhaling. Our capacity for breath and its emphasis in the esoteric and spiritual scriptures of time nigh immemorial weren't fucking around when they were praising breath, but we don't breathe. We gasp. And there's a difference. But the deception that we live in called the free market society, the free market economic society, socio-political false norm. It just takes a word and then redefines what the sound of that word means. So as time passes, we think we know what we're talking about, but we've lost it. When you look up most etymology of the English language, you'll find that in around the 15th century, between the 11th and like 15th century, 16th century, up until properly the beginning of the 20th, it's been an exercise of taking words, like especially the romantic languages, and making changing their meaning, the sound, to mean the opposite thing that it means, while forgetting the Latin. The only reason, for no other reason than the sounds that Latin makes, isn't especially anything, well, it might be, but the esoteric, absolutist understanding is that those sounds have ultimate power, because sounds have power. Sounds transcend space and time because they travel it. But if everybody's speaking the words of power, then everybody's got power. So instead, manipulate the language, make things mean the opposite. And if you think you know, you can manipulate power. Of course, there's always a superior and an inferior, right? There's always a greater distance, a greater gravitational force, or a superior, a greater energetic, higher capacitance force that will, in every paradigm, every realm of being, that can just say fuck that, override. It would be like the law of I want to say correspondence, the Hermetic laws. Anyways, let's move on to nails, because then the rest kind of flow together. Like I said, this was going to be like its own talk. Nails fascinate me because, like eyes, it's like I've grown up. I've always loved cutting my nails. I was never a nail biter. And if you're a nail biter, it totally makes sense. We've all got our the ways we dump our anxieties, basically the ways we cleanse our defunct auric fields. And so in my quest of learning, why do we have nails? Why do animals have nails? What are they used for? What benefit do they lend? And then, shy of technology, i.e. nail clippers, what was I supposed to do with my nails? And then why do they grow endlessly? Your hair grows endlessly. Yeah, but not everywhere. My arm hair doesn't grow endlessly. My armpit hair doesn't grow endlessly. My beard slows its growth. And really so does my hair on my head. And why does my body differentiate between growing more here and more there and then stopping growth? Except to replace what falls off. And the answer is auric coherence. It's fields of coherency. So basically your nails, mine are perfectly long right now, which is super different for me. I always cut my nails, and I cut, cutting my nails was like you cut all the whites off, and then as a person in like fitness and bodies and everything like, and just all the touching, lifting, everything like that, massage, I've massage therapist as well. Nails were like, Urgh. So this is what your nails do. And I'm going to end with the most obvious, but the biggest reason that we cut them, that you forget. I know because I knew. So let's go. The kind of, okay, well, let me finish. How they stop growing, or what stimulates growth, is electrical signals, your nervous signals are sent to the nail bed, and from there they tell the nail to grow. Because obviously, like once I'm looking into nails, it's like, well, but what about those guys that like have super long fucking nails? You know what I mean? Like, what's your body telling you about your nails then? Like, why does it do that? Why would it do that? Because it starts getting covered in skin, and like your nerves start traveling. Like you can't, like it can kill a guy, like non-gender guy. You know what I mean? If you break one of those nails, it's like it is now a limb. Why did your body do that? So our bodies are endlessly telling our beds to keep growing. When we scratch the chalkboard, right? That feeling, whatever you touch with your fingertips, because you've got a hard surface on the other side, this tells you about pressure. Like if it was soft on top, it'd be like, here's information. But my tongue, which is like super smart, isn't finding out so much. Super smart, like wicked smart and super talented. It's not so much about my beer right now. Talking, obviously. Let's use a different example. Like my tattoo is not. It's like I'm pretty like ectoformic, like I'm ectomorphic rather, like I'm skinny, like I'm so skinny it hurts. It's still being pressed down, and the bone, like there's less information as opposed to fingertip. See how like it lights up? Not my nail, silly. The nail. That lighting up is information that couldn't be garnered if there wasn't this keratin layer on the other side, giving it something to press against. Like it's like well, it's like pushing against. Oh, it works the other way, I guess. Yeah, okay. So it's like, this is a good one. So this is like the learning hand. This is like, would be like the fingertip. This is the force. It's like, what's going on? But it's like, why do you even have a piece of wood like just chilling there? It's because I melted it. I'm industrious like that. The piece of wood there is firm, See? Like, the firmness translates. Yeah. Okay. So it's one reason. Also, run your fingertips over across the top of your hand and create the distinction like the back of your hand is someone else's hand and your hand is your hand. Just your fingertips. Okay? Like take that information in. How weird is it that we touch ourselves not nearly enough, to be honest? But you're like, if this was someone else's hand, what would that feel like? Like, wow, I don't really feel myself. Now, do it again, but let your nails kind of run across the top of the surface too. Fingertips and nails. And then go back and forth, sideways. Your nails tell you about a surface well more than just your fingertips do. Let's do my coach. Fingertips. Fingertips and nails. So, ooh, sound, texture. Ooh. Imagine water and water. Imagine air and air. Which is why we cut them or recoat them, because it dumbs us. The way to blind someone is, first of all, assert blindness is assert vision is only attributed to one of your sense organs. And it's not. It's your whole body contributes to what your brain computes as a digital signal, as a analogous signal processor. And then creates your vision. It's not just your eyes. Because it's all just light, it's all just frequency. Your ears, your eyes, what the wind, your clothes, it's all just vibration. And your brain computes and creates. But in a system that works like that, you can't just block one. You do lots. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. Just like rob them a little bit there, rob them a little bit there, rob them a little bit there, rob them a little bit there. Or we do it a couple hundred years, and people live only 100 years. When they really only live for like 5, and then we put them in school, and then they're dying for someone else. I hinted at like a magical reason for nails, but that's not the one I want to tell you about. What's the chief reason we have nails? Make like a mental guess. If you answered self-defense, you're right. They're fucking claws. Period. No, they don't. You don't. They don't stop growing because you keep using them like scratching posts. How they stop growing is a body because what your body has a charge. You can use positive and negative. Inside the cellular matrix of all your cells is slightly negatively charged. Because of that, just on the opposite surface of all your cells is positively charged. That translates to every level. So your skin is I don't want to say it's slightly positively charged because we're so fucking polluted that it's hard to tell. Here, I'm just gonna. Way too bad to see. All right. Okay. All right. That people's like charged surfaces are just completely out of whack. But that's not important. What is important is your nails or like your hair, in that they carry, they create like a channel, an access point for one polarity of your body to engage in to engage in an environment with the opposite polarity. So it gives you an opportunity to kind of vent polarity. It gives you an opportunity to accrue polarity. And it gives you access to environmental polarity. In that way, if you think of auric coherence, when your whole system is in coherence with its inner environment, and then it's sovereign, so it has a sovereign coherence in which to engage its external environment, which I'll call like the opposite side of my skin, basically. Then your nails, like your hair, receive information, and as such, they, like the hair on your arms and your legs, receive those like inputs of like, it's like, okay, grow to this length, then stop. Which is why you like wizards and even like you'll see the statues of and what are they called? Whatever, man, like the wall art of Mesopotamia. They've all got long nails. It's almost like a representation of your auric influence. That's a little bit more theory. Then it's not just theory. It's like theory, like science uses theory. It's like, it's theory. It makes sense, but it's not. I don't know. It's not super substantial. You know what I mean? Like it's got weight, but there's definitely different influences. But I'm just positing. See what I did there? Positing that you did. Oh yeah, you do. You love it. It's funny. Yeah. Okay, so that concludes the night vision, the breath, and the nails. But how it ties into this next slew is what's been rubbed, who we are, what we are, and how we've been disallowed to grow alongside our greater environment, which is that of this planet. Which isn't some like, I don't know, you can just say it. It's got this like deeply media ridden connotation of like being removed and separate. It's like, why wouldn't we be absolutely and inextricably connected, all of us, to the patterns and the energies of like power and life force, which equates to our emotions, which equates to our ambitions, our inspirations, our thoughts, then with the planet that we're born on and into, there's only so much you can do about your external environment, though. Some things take space and time. So here we go. This, thank goodness for you and the all of yous, because this was definitely started as like a fuck you, like rant as I was writing, and I don't know, there's more hope in it now. The kind of short that I wrote was like, our economy must be poor, and maybe we'll get to some alternatives. And that's the only way, because poor is only a matter of circumstance. When you look to nature, what animal is poor except for how we rubbed it? Be annoying. Sorry, I'm especially short with life right now. There's lots of ways to manifest different external environment. Oof. On the little dark side, which should be another talk, because I really want to talk about the Jedi and the Sith philosophy. Taking a breathe at the ground. It sucks being really sensitive to your environment sometimes. I'm working on it. This is like my chief struggle, if it's allowed to be understood as being chiefly superficial. All creatives are governed by unnatural forces. Unnatural, unreal forces. And we can like carpet bomb unnatural, unreal forces under like the tab money or the free market economy. It's like, you know why it's called a free market economy? Because it's the market where you buy and sell freedom. It's not for everybody. You've got to pay for it. And everything, there's only one good and there's only one service. And it's economy, and that's our food. See, but creatives, which isn't everybody, can't be governed by non-creative rules and structures, because the creative impetus is that of the real. What's creativity? It's your imagination, it's ideas. It's like you are so fucking removed from your beating heart that you never ask yourself where your ideas come from and why you have them, and what's like, we're so consumed with our supposed legacy that we've not just falsely attributed, but largely and like conveniently neglect the legacy that our ideas have inherited. I mean, like the good ones. And in our world, It's like this thing. It's like, doesn't this make people shake their heads? It's like, we can clean up the ocean. It's just going to cost a lot of money. What? We can solve homelessness. It's just going to cost money. This is good. This is like, we have the cure for malaria. It just costs money. We have the cure for disease. It just costs money. Yeah, but like, money is just a representation of resources, and yeah. How long did it take you to like think past that thought? Because anything is possible, and for the betterment of the whole, or any singular. Isn't it governed by the resources and not by money? Well, money finds its way to those most responsible. You don't even believe that. You don't even believe that. You know that's not true. You know that's not true. Let's continue. Like, I want to say, costs do not reflect reality as perpetuated by life. Look at me, I'm already continuing. Gotta love flow. Let me think of a great analogy. Thank you. You just did. Let's move on. See? Yeah. What up, intuition? Psychicness? Real things? This is really important. And if you remember one thing, because it's the only thing that I said succinctly, let it be this. Thank goodness for you. It's really hard for me to smile and laugh and have a good time. Not in general, just for a while. Like 35 years. Here it is. There's just one thing. Okay. Nature is non-zero sum. I'm gonna say it again. You're like, I don't even know what the fuck that means. It's like, yes, but it's all fucking search barable. I don't Google things. Search barable. All right. Nature is non-zero sum. What's zero sum? Zero sum is one of those fucking market force lingo type jargons that means win-lose. Someone's got to win. Someone's got to lose. Nature only plays win-win. Nature, every game nature plays is win-win. On like inferior realms of consciousness and superior realms of consciousness, essentially not this like phase that we are in, like frequency phase, that is undergoing this transformation, which is really an induction of like resonance and fucking like awesome creation, right? Like, we are the edge of God. It's like, people make the mistake that God is like omnipotent and omniscient, and that means like all is known. So how boring would that be? If you know everything that is, you know everything that will be, and that has been, then on the edge of right now, always will be something else. It's like, what do you mean? What else is there? Exactly. That's only two omnis, man. There's more than two omnis. There's more than two omnis. I get down, everybody. It's going to blow. My name is John Carter. I'm a copy with you. It's It's my impression of an impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Earth's one planetary being, and it makes sense, right? It's like, well, would the prey animal say that everything is win-win to the predator animal? Yes, man. Yes, that's why they live. Yes, circle of life, baby. It's circle of life is a circle of death, because adventure is a spiral and everlasting. I'm going to tie that into a point that I've got lower down. Or rather, it's just a thought that I knew I'd think of. Which is this: conflict must result in harmony. All conflict must result in harmony. This is physics. This is a distorted view of entropy, where everything in the chaos, everything in the world is moving towards disorder. No, man. Matter, energy, all of that, in a closed system moves towards disorder, because consciousness in a closed system moves towards order. And those two things dynamically balance out. It's rocket science. But the truth is, rocket science isn't complicated. I hope you can appreciate how complex, yet like easy to understand, reality can be. Jumping around a little bit, hardly. This is all like I really want to. This is me talking about the economy and how stupid it is and how it'll never be successful. But there are like so many creative and wonderful and easily accessible ways that we can turn the world's economy right now into something that makes sense. It does. Resource-based economy is something that I would use because it gets people thinking in those terms. But even a resource-based economy is like, stop basing your economy. Economy just means like effective distribution and utilization of resources. It's like resource-based economy is like saying like a Elliott-based body. Yeah, we're just no information there, except your name. But you can be anything. It's like, yes, exactly, resource-based economy. But it's better than the bullshit of like our debt-based economy. Like, I think I get to this, but like, how can we be like, we know we've got a debt-based economy? Like, this is like common knowledge. Well, common enough in like the spheres of intelligista. What, like, doesn't that sound like a bad economy? Debt-based economy. Couldn't we base our economy on something that's not debt? Do you think that do you think that it's insignificant that debt and dead sound the same? Debt-based economy. Write that down. But it's true. I love etymology. I love language. I love a lot of things, but I mostly love you. It's true. Which is why I don't do anything, because you're too far away. It's like, I'm working it out with the universe. No. You know what? It's worth bunch. No. I'll get to that. It's a good closer. Thank you for being patient with me. Competition. Competition makes me think of the Olympics because it comes from the Greek root word of whatever. But it originally meant to strive together. So what that can mean is, like, imagine that the first Olympics where, yeah, man, there was a first, a second, and a third, a gold, a silver, and a bronze. Sure, we'll give medals out. But let's say you live in Athens, and across all of Greece, there's only 10 pockets of 1,000 people. And fucking only and only a few hundred of them are into doing what you do to such a high level. Because you know what? Your life isn't spent like fucking the dog. So everybody is good at everything that they perform in the Olympics. And so it is just generally well known, those that are like especially good. In arriving at the competition, who do you think you've practiced with? Who do you think pushes you to be better? How do you have any benchmark of what's good, what's hard, except for your peers? And when it's all said and done, the person that comes in second place is not celebrated because they came in second place, and that's pretty good, man. It's not first, but it's pretty good. It's a mutual celebration of excellence. Like, the person that comes in second enjoys the glory of the person that came in first, because that person wouldn't have come in first if it weren't for the person that came in second. And so first, second, third becomes only like a marker of the shortest period of time, how far something got thrown, who crossed the finish line first, and not of quality of character. Because the new world record isn't held by ... The new world record is held by all. We got to this. We got to that. Sure, fucking Hercules threw it, but there'd be no Hercules stone if it weren't for me. Other Greek strongman guy / girl. Because I didn't write that down, but FYI, men and women are like almost perfectly strong as each other. Differently strong, but not differently strong like people say differently strong. I mean, like, that's why I didn't want to say it. Like, they're like, we're equally strong. It's just cultural conditioning, physical and psychological. And that's a topic for another show. Because I know that one of my opportunities in this life is to help bridge the distortion that is the confusion between the sexes. I mean all three of them, which is to say all of them. Because 20%, I think it's 20%, it's either 20% or 2% of, it's something ridiculous, of all people in the world are born hermaphroditic. You know that? Even 2%. That's still like, well, what's 1% of a billion? A million? It's a lot of people. Not the place to be doing that kind of stuff in my mind right now. But men, women, mutilation. All right, we're gonna close this up. I've still got like half of it, but I'm just gonna fly through them because now we filled it in. Borders of entry that limit resource / life circulation. So this made me think of borders like countries. This made me think of academic borders, certification, um, uh, social, be it gender, be it race, be it any kind of pseudo skill, because everybody can learn anything that they want, desire. You don't have to know everything. You don't want to know everything, but whatever you're good at and allowed to be, you're that's the only limit. And the emphasis here is on circulation. This goes back to like nature's not in zero sum. Think of your body. Now think of your arm being like, I'm going to keep most of the protein, the amino acids, and that means the other arm's going to get a little bit less. But you know what? If it gives me a little bit of this, then maybe we'll make a trade. And the fucking your organs in your belly are like, yeah, man, fuck that shit. I want a little piece of that. Scam, right? And then your toes are like, where do me? I'm so far away from the voices. I want love too. And so we get cancer and die. Or ... insert disease name here. There's no you can't cross here. You shall not pass to myself, to a part of me. Think of all the plants and animals and insects that have created all kinds of fuckery because of not because of man's rise, no, like because of like not even like I also use man because man and woman, those words have been co-opted. The word man, historically written, has always meant one like this, like either gender. And woman has always meant either gender. Only uh, same with father. Same with mother. These words have been co-opted to mean to create gender divide when originally gender was non-gender like identified. But our system will never work because it's poor circulation. Never mind, we're circulating poor, but like poverty, it's like no poverty go around, no poverty go around. But it's like we live in a world with no brain and no heart. There's no direction. The body of the world, as decided by a select group of cells, is creating all kinds of disorder. But it's just a cool group. It's just a group of cells. The whole body is like, fuck that. We got an immune response, and they're called me and you. Related, academia burdens growth by fact and utility. I've spoken to this before, so I don't have to like lean on it too hard. But academic papers, journals, universities, colleges, and all that whole tuition thing. Never mind, and then schools starting from fucking preschool. We start imprisoning children from the age of like, how early can we get them out of our house and out of our hair? It's like never mind, I'm not going to touch on that because that's more personal than what I'm talking about. There's no such thing as fact. All knowledge is in a state of transition. It's what we know by now. So there can be no institution that has, like, our textbooks have to be alive, which means human beings are the only textbooks. Which is why in, like, the real world, education isn't a system. We're all educators. We're all educating. We're all educated. Not because not there's no like, it's self-informing, a structure like that, because life is about education. Life is about learning and exploring and then utilizing. It's about proving and disproving, right? And in a system like that, where we don't teach, like, yes, Elliot, da 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 da. No, you're wrong. Actually, he's not wrong. It's just not the answer you're looking for. But he's right in his thinking. Oh, wait, I'm not a real person. That's not how we teach. You're wrong. Or my favorite, show your work. You mean show my work? I just did. The answer is the right answer. But you have to show how you did it. How do you want me to do that? Do you want to talk about it? Because I didn't do it your way. Do you want me to teach you my way? F. For fuck you. Story of my academic life. So that's fact, but also utility. What we don't use gets lost and underused. And again, but you know what? Fuck it. I live to repeat. We know. This isn't. Never mind. Like, there's nothing that I know that I didn't find out, like, concretely from the world around me. Channeling, that. Yeah, man. I do all that shit, but I don't really, like. I've taught the universe, if it wants to teach me anything, it's got to be hard to touch. That's what I like. It's what I insist on, and it's all there. So there's, like, in my experience, everything is knowable. I have not yet tried to find something out that I couldn't figure out. But also, everything I know is not done. I don't know everything about everything, but I know there's always more, and so there's always something lacking. But when we teach, when we change what something lacking, or I don't know, and what those things mean, then we celebrate them instead of penalizing them, imprisoning them, and then limiting them. But think of like the, like, wealth of knowledge on YouTube about anything and everything, and then look at the world and say, does the world reflect the fact that we know this? No. You know what I mean? COVID-19. It's a bunch of fucking people running with their fucking, like, chickens with their heads cut off. Which, like, never mind, is, like, such a cruel metaphor. But it's perfect, as it's, like, analogous to the cruelty of our society. So, gloves, masks. Do you know what a virus is? Yeah, it's like a bug. It's like, you're a bug. Fuck you. No, but we don't teach people to be wrong. That it's okay to be wrong. We don't teach people that it's okay to, I don't know. And further, we don't allow for the reality that what you don't know can be found out. That's worthy, because you are smart. You can know anything you want, and you can be good at anything you want to be good at. There's nothing you want to be good at that you can't be good at, except for unreal limitations imposed by society vis-a-vis money or debt. Debt, 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 debt. I touched on this already, but whatever, fake news is a world killer. Instead, it's legitimized. Can you believe that fake news, we know the fake news is a thing, and everybody's just like, that's a fucking travesty. How can we let that exist? Yeah, but what are you gonna, no. Stop there. You think maybe your like information distribution system is fucked if like it can be falsified at all? You know what can't be falsified? Friendship and peers. Communities of people that don't attribute what they think they know about the rest of the world um, from someone that they don't know. Information highways are meant to be traveled by travelers, not routers. It's so yeah. Thank God. I don't even need to say anything more. It's one of these stupid things like fake. Why are we even talking about this? Shouldn't we be like locking up like all the media companies being like, you can't fake news? That's like the worst crime. You're lying about about the world. Fake news exists, but like COVID-19. I would not tell a lie. Look at me, pop culture. What up? What up? Oh, this reminds me because I just saw myself. I love my nephew so much. Dude, for his birthday, which just passed, is in April. Uh, he's a Taurian. He's on the cusp. He's a Taurus. He's Aries too. His brother's an Aries too. And he's a little Capricorn, right? I love him so much. He's a Pisces moon, like, yeah, I love him so much. He's so smart, so cute, he's so wicked. He had a button up for his birthday, and his mom was buttoned up, and like he left like the couple. He's like just turned 3, so he left the couple up there. He's like Uncle L. I was like, I love you so much. Of course, this is all through a video because COVID-19. Oh God, but I love him so fucking much. Anyways, yeah, like Uncle Al. This touches a little bit on spirituality. I was getting a little long, but they're all gems. I wrote them down. I'll never write it down and share it, really. You cannot pay to be remembered. Eternity is without price. And this is a connected thought. Fame has been co-opted by Hollywood away from family. So let me tie that together. Memory isn't here. It's here. It's everywhere. And the way to live forever as an asshole is impossible. Eventually, you turn out to be a decent person. And anything that eventually is to be touches eternity, and so, in a way, always has been and always will be pretty decent. But that's boring. So, in time and space, much of our media is like all of it is driven to manipulate this time streams and history and whatnot, but what and our thinking, the sounds we produce, the thoughts we produce, because those ripple outwards, and are where we are in the. Did you know that we our galaxy, our supercluster galaxy, is in the center of the galaxy is made up with filaments of threads. You've seen it, like maybe, and it's like a woven tapestry. But there's these gaps called like voids, voidal gaps, and every now and then there's like voids with galaxies like in them, kind of separate from everything. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? Milky Way galaxy, Andromeda, all that, like our galaxy cluster, super galaxy cluster, is in the center of the biggest voidal gap that we know and can recognize in the universe so far, that we can like measure and so map. That's the tale of Jesus and Pistis Sophia. I'll say that's enough to that. But like our legends, our myths, they've even been co-opted to a sword. But you don't get famous because of money. You get famous because of family. You remember your relative. And that doesn't need to be blood. That's community. Family, great people live through time because of their goodness. Period. Which is why so much work went into all the book burning and all the wars and beyond the propaganda to destroy all the hard evidence for our global society that existed a couple thousand years ago, really 1,000 years ago. But we lost a big war and we've since been enslaved, but we think we're free. That's actual real history. But to prove all that, or to disprove the truth, to kill everybody that remembers, and then brainwash the orphans. So the witch burnings was like the witch trials was like warfare against not just against women, but against like, okay, I guess I'm going to touch on it a little bit, but we're going all over the place. Our society, since not so long ago, was driven mostly by women. Almost similarly as to, there was a point of corruption that was similar, but like it was really minutely. It wasn't as widespread, but like really like as balanced as like the widespread male like propaganda. There was like female propaganda in that way, but really centeredly. Like lots of men, one woman. That would be like the different balance. But when you look at like the English court system, they're wearing dresses and women's wigs. You look at Egyptian history, the men wore women's wigs or cut their hair like women. It's not better or worse. The moral of the story is we've been lied to, and if you love men and women equally, like I do, then that's actually the most constant truth. Period. Only 2 more points, and then we're gonna go because it's been long enough. I've had a great time with you. I gotta pee because I had coffee. This is the last point, but why I put the night vision, the nails, and the breath. Unreal economies rob us of our natural gifts. We are so removed, not from unnatural. Unnatural for me is like one of those weird words. Like, what's like even our most fucked up behavior is still natural because what's arising out of unnaturality. And so there is a use of the word unnatural, but it's more esoteric in specificity rather than the way that we just throw it around. It's like artificial, unnatural. The root of artificial is art. I don't mean like there's art in artificial. I mean that's literally what the word was used for. Like it was like a piece of like divine art. But now it means fake. Like all art has been like relegated to. However, unreal. I kind of like that. And our economy is unreal. It's contrived, and my biggest beef with it is just it's stupid. I don't mind mistakes. I don't mind. Period. And like tragedies, bad decisions. None of those are stupid. Stupid is when you know better, or you could know better, and you ignore it for any reason. That's stupid. And like night vision, like they literally declaws. They literally declaws our nails, like especially and like men or women are different. Did you see Logan, the movie? If you did, if you didn't, Wolverine, the X-Man, has 3 claws that come out of his fists. His daughter, genetic, never mind. I was like, let's only stop it. Had 2 and 1 coming out of each foot. My penis, which is to say my scrotum, but more importantly, my ovaries / my testes are outside of my body, located on the lower half. Women's are located inside, but externally on the upper half, they have breasts and balls and breasts, balls and boobies. Balls and boobies are meant to flow with how we move. It's our, they're like, it's like we dropped our tails when we dropped our balls and grew breasts. Seriously though, it's like walk around with something hanging between your legs, and you walk differently. You walk in rhythm, right? If you're a woman, I don't have to tell you, no matter how small your breasts are, right? Because that's another like social fallacy for just like self-hate and then hate each other. Everyone, let's find reasons. Because if you get together, you won't believe us in our fake news. But yeah, like you're always, that's like you see with your every part of you. And we lose our relationship with the ground. We lose our relationship with the sea. Because everything is held artificially. Well, for some people. I don't do underwear. I used to. And then I found yoga. Free! All right, moving on. But not to be understated. Like, it amazes me how little value and wonder we have for the human vessel as like a piece of technology. And we're not lacking for imagination. We just call it science fiction and fantasy. As to like imagine where where we're from, and imagine where we could be. Such and such, Moore's law. This is when computers are going to be smarter than people. It's like, do you hear the words that are coming out? How stupid do you think you are? Like, I never want a self-driving car. When I was like 17, I designed in my mind because I was like, traffic is stupid. There could be a better way. So I designed in my mind like an idea of kind of networking, but like our cars, every car has a radio. Why don't our cars have a way to walkie-talkie? No. Take them from horseback, take them from their feet, take them away from nature, put them in little bubbles, and then make the vehicles, which are actually fucking awesome. But let's make them like stupid, delicate. We'll create social norms so that like, oh, it's got a scratch. It's like, what do you mean we make cars so that they don't bump into things? I guess that's how I'm going to start treating my person. So, oh, don't bump into. Oh, don't bump into. Oh, don't get a scratch on me. Don't touch the world. Don't let the world touch me. Because it's going to cost lots of money. But honk, honk, honk. I went to India. And I've been to like India and Thailand. Like, they honk there like they're smiling. It's just communication. In North America, at least, I can't speak of like Europe too much. I didn't pay too much attention. Because like it's a little bit here and there. It's like honking communication, honking because we're French. Honking because we're Parisian. Parisian. I don't know, whatever. In North America, you just honk like as like a I don't even know. I don't honk except to be like watch out or like fuck I'm not stopping or like nope that's it or like a hey, but then it's like I'm really trying to be delicate. Don't want to disturb, don't want you to think that I'm upset. Because if I'm upset, you'll get the finger. Or I'll wind down my window and I'll say something. Not like road rage, like real rage. Like, don't be an asshole. But oh, I'm declawed. You're not allowed to be angry. You're not allowed to be sad, angry, upset at anything that is upsetting. Because that's just the way it is. And that leads perfectly into my last point. Satisfaction and contentment, they lead to ambition, not complacency. The kind of like seed that made me realize this like thought again was I recently watched one of my favorite movies, The Adjustment Bureau. I love Matt Damon. And I love what's her face, Emily Blunt. So, and then that movie is fucking awesome in my life. But in it, he's going to be the president and he's going to change the world. And so like the backdoor alien/angels of society, the plan says, you can't be with her even though you love each other, because if you're with her, you're not going to have the drive to fill the hole in your heart. That's the moral of the story. I mean, like, we don't know that he goes on to keep doing whatever he's going to do. But how can that part be a part? How can that, like, why aren't we as a people challenging that? challenging that assumption of our society. Because it's hard. I've had to. And I would say that I've only really surmounted it recently. But something that's never sat well is the lie of like, if you don't have a job, if you don't have this, if you don't have that, then like people are just going to sit around and do nothing. It's like, no, no, no. When you look at people sitting around just doing nothing, it's to balance the whole life that they've lived thus far doing what they don't want to do, being something that they don't want to be. Period. Are you gonna just sit around and play video games? Are you gonna sit around and just like play? Yes, yes, we are all gonna sit around and play games because that's what life can be. Life can be exciting. Life can be easy. Life can like the thrill of doing something that hasn't been done before, even in ways that we do now. Like all the best parts of life are allowed without the threat of like being valued by fake society and really having a value return. I find that my personal challenge every day. But part of like all of this is like, and I've kind of vented about this recently, I'm like wicked smart only because I work fucking hard like so many people. But like people are different. I'm really talented. Like a lot of things. The world has no job for me. There's uh, no center for recruitment, no place to volunteer. Not there's no place for me to be me as my capacity to be a human being and receive value for that. I've got to do it someone else's way and not by way of integrity, not by way of synergy, but by compromise and personal liability. I have to actually forego my own responsibility and then assume some numbers because nobody knows their employers. Their employers don't give a shit about you. Don't feel bad though. Like employers don't give a shit about shit. If it doesn't pay. So not just my experience, but in truth, satisfaction, ease, like general life contentment. Like we all need a fucking vacation. And that might last for all of us a good 10, 20 years just to balance the fucking centuries of bullshit. But give us a few before we're not going to think, we're not going to have technology. We're not going to have, world global benefit, universal galactic discoveries. Like it's nobody's business because it's nobody's business. Nobody's staying busy. We're doing what makes the most sense. It feels good. And we're not harming or enslaving anyone else. You know why? Not because it's bad, because it's fucking not worth it. It's like that's just too much energy. Like why would I buy? It's just that's boring. And the few individuals, the cells that like want to do that anyway, they're just outnumbered. But you know how to outnumber a whole lot of people with just a few? You invent money. And then you make money more valuable than people. So our current economy, obviously, is self-defeating and can't exist. And what does better look like? You, me, and each other. It doesn't have thought. There's no like Kickstarter for like there are good people with a lot of money that are going to help. Like no, that's not actually how things work. We find each other and we give everything that we have to give because what we give freely doesn't dispense us. I don't run out of love. I can give it. It doesn't deplete me. It moves through me. And it's for like my and all the like attributions and creations and like work as far as like kinetic force and energy, that balances itself out with the environment. Sleep when I'm gonna sleep, eat when I'm gonna eat, love when I'm gonna love, which is all the fucking time. It can be that easy. And I'm like, fuck. It can be that easy. And then can we get exciting? Because self-driving cars are for morons. You know what self-driving cars are for? People that it doesn't matter where they are. It's not even just a matter of getting A to B. It's like there's only A. You're going from A to A. If you don't like driving, that's cool. You create a different experience. I fucking love driving. You'll never take driving away from me. I was gonna say like it's like trying to take away walking, but like COVID-19. You want people to drive for you. You want people to think for you because you're not capable. That's the lie. And for all the people that aren't super good at thinking yet, they just need to be given permission and make and feel like it's not going to be the end of their world if they agree with what feels good, because that's what most of like the fear mongering of the mob policing is. It's mob mentality, but it's just because all those individuals feel like it's gonna hurt them to side with those ideas that make them feel good. Well, they can't hurt me. They can't hurt you. When they see us happy, they'll know what to do. Ba-da-ba-ba, yeah. Hi, my name's Elliot. And I'm you. Thanks for joining me. This was interesting. It was different. I'm gonna go play video games after I pee. Because I do what I want. I ain't inventing shit until it's easier and more satisfied. Because that's the least that I need. And Spirit's always listening. And love. Well, that's just how love do. I hope you have a great everything. Thanks for cheering me up. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Have a great you. And me that makes 1 and 1 3. Namaste.